Hello, welcome to our Are you sad? Are you hurt? Are you lost? Are you lonely? Worry no more. You are at the right channel. Welcome to Exclusive!
Hello mga ka-X! Welcome back! Now, for our video lesson, we are going to learn solves problem involving quadratic equation. Given our first example, the product of two consecutive numbers is 132. What are the two numbers? So before we are going to identify the value of the two numbers, let us have first our given. It is expected that we will have our first number and our second number since we are talking two numbers here. Now, for the value of our first number, it has been stated that we have two consecutive numbers. Therefore, our first number is x, and the number that is next to x, that is x plus 1. Now, let us have our solution. Remember that the two consecutive numbers are being multiplied by the word itself, product. So we are going to multiply first number times the second number is equal to 132. Now, let us substitute their values. Our first number, that is x, multiplied by x plus 1 is equal to 132. Now, let us do distributive property on the left side. Let us multiply x times x, that is x squared, x times 1, that is x is equal to 132. We need to make this equation to be in standard form. And to do that, we are going to subtract both sides by 132. So our result will be x squared plus x minus 132 is equal to 0. Now we can solve the roots of this equation using factoring, and our pattern is x minus and x plus. Now let us think of two numbers that if we are going to multiply, the result is negative 132, and if we're going to add, the result is positive 1. And the two numbers are negative 11 and positive 12. Now using zero product property and by simplifying, our first root is positive 11 and our second root is negative 12. Now, on the problem, it is not being stated that the two consecutive numbers are positive or negative. So let us use positive 11 first. So our first number will be 11. And for our second number, that is x plus 1. So that is 11 plus 1. So that is 12. Now, let us use negative 12. So if our first number is negative 12, therefore that is negative 12 plus 1. So our second number is negative 11. So we have two sets of answer. Given our second example, a rectangular garden has an area of 96 meters squared. The length of the rectangular garden is 4 more than to its width. What are the dimensions of the garden? Now let us identify first our given. We have here the area, width, and length. Now for our area, it is being stated 96 meters squared. Now for the width, it is not being stated here what is the value of width, but we have here the length. It is being stated the length of a rectangular garden is 4 more than to its width. Therefore, our width is a number, so let us say W. And for our length, that is 4 more than to its width, so therefore that is W plus 4. Now let us create its solution. It is being expected that we are going to use the area of a rectangle. So our formula is area of a rectangle is equal to length times width. Now by substituting, our area is 96 is equal to our length, W plus 4 times W. Now let us do distributive property on the right side. So we have here 96 is equal to W squared plus 4 times W, so we have 4W. Now remember, we need to make this side be equal to 0 to make this into a standard form. So we are going to subtract both sides by 96. So 96 minus 96, that is 0. And that gives us W squared plus 4W minus 96 is equal to 0. As you can see, we are using symmetric property, wherein our 0 now is on the right side. Now, let us solve for its roots. We can use factoring, and the pattern that we can use is W minus and W plus. Now let us think of two numbers that if we are going to multiply, the result is negative 96, and if we're going to add, the result is positive 4. And those two numbers are negative 8 and positive 12. Now using zero product property and by simplification, our first root is positive 8 and our second root is negative 12. Now remember, we will not use negative value since we are talking measurements. So if we are going to use measurements, we will use positive result. So we will use our W be equal to 8. So our first value for width, that is 8. And for our length, we have 8 plus 4. So we have 12. So therefore, our dimensions of the rectangular garden is 8 meter by 12 meters.
If you find the lesson confusing, feel free to hit the replay button. Replay! 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 Replay!